Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In the previous tutorial we looked at envelopes on an event, and in the tutorial before that we looked at envelopes on a track. And so now we're going to look for envelopes in a place you're probably not expecting, on a transition. This was added several versions back, so let's see how one gets placed on a transition, and then we'll look to see where it actually is and how we can find it. So like, subscribe, let me know what you'd like to see in the future, and let's see how this works. Let's start by looking at the Vegas timeline. So as you know, to create a dissolve, you just need two events on the timeline, and you just drag one over the other. If we right-click on this dissolve and look at our envelopes, you'll see that our transition progress is not available. So if we drag a transition onto here, and then we right-click it, and we go to Insert Remove Envelope, you will see that transition progress is now available. And if we add a point here, then we can move this back and forth, and you can see that it is adjusting how far along the transition has gone based on where I am placing this mark. So now let's see how we can find that transition. Our find fade envelope is basically the same as all the others we've been doing, except for passing it a fade and then the envelope type. So for each envelope in fade.envelopes, if that is the envelope type that we're looking for, we return that envelope, otherwise we return null. So up above, let's make sure that we're looking at the first event on the first track, and we want to look at the fade in, which will be the left side, and see if it can find that transition progress envelope. If it does not find it, we will get not found. If it does, we will get found. So we're looking for the envelope, find fade envelope, passing it the fade in on the left first event on track 1, and we're looking for the transition progress envelope. Now when we run the script, it says it was not found, which that would be totally expected because we would not expect it to find it over here because there is no transition over here. So now let's look at the fade out on this event. So we change our fade in to fade out, and then we will save this and run it again. And it also was not found, which might be a surprise to you since there is a transition there. However, it seems when you add a transition, it always adds it to the fade in to the event on the right, so it's not a big surprise to me that it was not found on the fade out on the left event. So now let's look at the fade in on the right event. So we'll change this to 1 and this back to fade in. Save it again. And this time it does say it was found, which makes perfect sense. It was found on the fade in on the event to the right. Now let's look at the fade out on the event to the right. Once again, I really would not expect to see it here, but let's see what we get. So change this to fade out. Then we'll run it again. And it says it was found, which is really a surprise to me since there is no transition over there. But apparently, when you add it to a fade in, it also gets added to that same fade out. So if we add another transition over here, we'll see that it really does have the transition progress envelope on it. And as we move it around, you can see it's, I can take it from nothing up to whatever. And so that's the real surprise to me. I was not expecting that. So now we've looked for envelopes on tracks, we've looked for envelopes on video events, and we've looked for envelopes on transitions, which you may not have even been aware that the transition envelope was available. So hopefully you find these tutorials useful. Let's see where else we can find envelopes and what we can do with them. We'll see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.